She left, and Jesus revealed what is about to happen to humanity. He brought to light alarming issues such as control technology, lab-manufactured diseases, the mark of the beast, and the Great Reset. And surprisingly, all of this is accompanied by specific dates. Now allow me to share a fascinating account. My name is Hannah Miller. I am 42 years old, and I live in Munich, Germany. I grew up in a Lutheran family, but for a long time, my faith was merely a family tradition, without me truly experiencing it in a deep way. She was a history teacher at a high school and led a quite ordinary life. She attended church occasionally, especially on holidays, but her connection with God was superficial, lacking the depth she desired. Everything transformed on an afternoon in October 2023. I was crossing the street near Marienplatz, the vibrant heart of Munich, immersed in thoughts about the classes I would teach the next day. I remember looking carefully to both sides before crossing the crosswalk. The light was green for me. I took a few steps when suddenly, a deafening noise of tires screeching on the asphalt cut through the air. A car at high speed had lost control after the driver had a sudden health issue. I didn't have time to react. The impact was brutal. I felt my body being thrown through the air, as if suddenly gravity had disappeared. Everything happened in the blink of an eye, but strangely, it seemed to unfold in slow motion. I remember a fleeting thought. Is this how everything comes to an end? In that moment, the pain completely dissipated. Upon opening my eyes, I realized I was floating above the scene. I watched my body sprawled out on the asphalt, with blood spreading beneath my head. People were crowding around, some in panic, others talking on the phone, probably calling an ambulance. The driver was being pulled out of the car, apparently unconscious. It was surreal to witness that scene, but what surprised me the most was the absence of fear I felt. An inexplicable calm enveloped my being, bringing a peace I had never felt before. Although I knew that something serious had happened to my body, somehow, it no longer seemed to matter. As I contemplated the scene before me, I noticed that a soft light began to emerge around me. In the beginning, the light was soft, almost delicate, but gradually it intensified. It reached a point where it became so radiant that it seemed to absorb everything around me. Curiously, it was not a light that offended the eyes. On the contrary, it brought a sense of comfort, like a warm embrace. Attracted by that light, I felt as if it was calling me. I began to move in its direction, and as I advanced, I realized I was in a tunnel. The light, intense and radiant, grew stronger as I approached its end. The sensation of movement was gentle, as if I were floating towards that luminous source. Along this journey, flashes of my life began to emerge. It wasn't like in the movies, where a whole life unfolds before your eyes in a matter of seconds. It was something that went beyond the surface, laden with meaning. I remembered moments when I showed kindness to my students, times when I lovingly cared for my elderly parents, and occasions when I reached out to a stranger on the street. But I also recalled episodes when I let selfishness take over, when I ignored someone who was crying out for help, and when I judged without really knowing the story behind appearances. There was no room for judgments in those visions, only a deep understanding that all those experiences were an essential part of my journey. As I approached the end of the tunnel, the light began to expand, revealing a scene of indescribable beauty. It was like a garden, more alive and vibrant than anything I had ever seen on Earth. The colors were intense and pure, as if each hue were in its truest form. In the air, a soft music floated, not composed of notes from instruments, but as if the very atmosphere pulsed in perfect harmony. And then, a revelation hit me. I was not alone. There was a presence beside me, an energy that emanated love in a way I had never felt before. As I turned, I saw him. Instantly, I recognized who he was, even though I had never had the opportunity to see him before. Jesus was there, right in front of me. His appearance did not exactly resemble the traditional representations we know. There was something in his eyes that revealed an ancient wisdom, and at the same time, a boundless compassion. His smile was warm, as if he had known me forever. The light I had followed through the tunnel emanated from him, not like an external beacon, but as if it sprang from within, from every cell of his being. Hannah. He pronounced my name in a way that turned each letter into a true blessing. His voice, soft yet filled with an indescribable authority, echoed in my ears. All I could murmur was "Lord," as I let myself fall to my knees before him. He approached me and, with a gentle touch on my shoulder, asked me to stand up. "Don't be afraid," he said. "I have much to show you, much to teach you." As I felt his touch, a wave of understanding enveloped me, a sensation that transcended words. Suddenly, a new understanding took hold of me, revealing truths that were previously hidden. Jesus began to walk, and I followed him with courage. The scenery around us seemed to transform, as if it were expanding before our eyes. Soon, we arrived at a place that resembled a natural amphitheater, enveloping and majestic. It invited her to explore what seemed to be several dimensions at once. It was as if she could glimpse the past, the present, and the future simultaneously. "Hannah, you are only getting a glimpse of the spiritual reality," Jesus began to explain. "What you see on earth is just a small part of what truly exists. There is a battle being fought, with plans being executed, both in the realm of light and in the realm of darkness." He then pointed to what appeared to be Earth, observed from a cosmic perspective. "You are living through truly significant moments, times that were prophesied millennia ago. What you are about to see and hear, take with you as an important testimony. Many need to be alerted and prepared for what is to come, for Jesus extended his hand over what seemed to be a floating timeline that precedes us. What we find in the book of Revelation was not written to frighten us, but rather to prepare us. He is unique, as it begins with a blessing for those who read, hear, and keep the words of this prophecy." "Revelation?" I asked, trying to understand better. "But Lord, there are so many interpretations and theories." He smiled patiently and replied, "Yes, indeed. And this multiplicity of ideas often obscures the simple truth. The book, however, reveals the definitive victory of the Lamb over the forces of evil. I am the Lamb that was sacrificed, but who lives forever. I am in command. I am the one who holds the key that opens the heavens." As Jesus spoke, I glimpsed scenes of events unfolding on earth. I observed conflicts, natural disasters, and the use of technological advancements to dominate people. It was like watching a movie, but with a much deeper understanding of the events. We are approaching the end times. Jesus continued, "It is not the end of the world, but rather the closing of an era. The period of tribulation is approaching. The events you are witnessing are just the beginning of the pains." A temporal sequence unfolds before me, like a moving picture. Jesus pointed to a specific moment in time. Since mid-2024, events have intensified remarkably. The 3 years stretching from 2024 to 2027 promise to bring profound changes to the world you know. The images revealed a global transformation in economic, political, and social systems, suggesting a scenario of major upheavals and new dynamics. I observed people being dominated by technology, living in an almost total dependence on digital systems to carry out all their transactions. The man whom many refer to as Christ will reveal himself in his fullness. Jesus began to explain. He is already present in the world, working behind the scenes in a silent manner. Between July and September 2027, an event of great importance will take place for my people. "Will it be the rapture?" I asked, recalling the theological discussions that I occasionally heard at church. "Many of my faithful will find protection during the hour of trial that will come upon the whole earth," Jesus replied. There are various interpretations about the moment and the way this will happen, but the essential thing is to always be vigilant and prepared. What really matters is not the exact moment, but rather that we are prepared when the time comes. The images continued to unfold before me, revealing technological advancements that provoked unease. I observed machines that resembled humans, autonomous robots occupying positions of authority and control. The powerful of this world are already scheming an army of machines, Jesus revealed. By 2040, if circumstances allow, they intend to have 1 billion robots ready to impose their will. These machines do not know passion or mercy. They simply obey commands. I have seen images of people being monitored, identified, and controlled through biometric systems. I saw individuals being pursued for daring to disagree with the system that was imposed on them. Technology, which should be an ally of humanity, risks becoming an instrument of slavery. Jesus continued, "The one who will present himself as the man of peace will bring with him an illusion of security. However, behind this facade, his true purpose will be control and destruction." He showed me a sequence of events that resembled true technological catastrophes. He revealed to me that there are weapons capable of disabling all electrical systems in vast regions, an electromagnetic pulse that could throw cities and even countries back into darkness. Entire cities have plunged into chaos after the sudden loss of all electricity. Desperate people fought for basic resources as violence spread rapidly. "It's not about instilling fear," Jesus said, noticing my reaction to the images. "It's so that my people are ready, both in body and soul. In the darkness, my light will shine even more brightly through those who know me." It was then that Jesus revealed something even more unsettling to me. New diseases, originating in laboratories, are being released into the population. Just as happened recently, other diseases will be developed and spread. He explained that some of these diseases were designed to spread rapidly, leading to death within a matter of days. Others will affect the nervous system and the brain. In the laboratories of the villa, scientists were dedicated to research with deadly viruses, using genetically modified animals to conduct their tests. The result of these experiments was devastating. A disease spread across the world, bringing with it an alarming mortality rate. Humanity, in its boldness, seemed to play at being God, manipulating the very essence of life. With sadness, Jesus observed this reality. What they believed they had created to dominate others could in an instant slip from their hands and become uncontrollable. He then directed his gaze to another aspect of the timeline. "See how they use fear to control the masses," he said. "The fear of global warming, the fear of pandemics, the fear of scarcity. When people feel threatened, they end up giving up their freedom in search of an illusory security. Before we continue, just one request. Please subscribe to our channel. It really helps us keep going." Before proceeding, just one request. Please subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot to keep going. I noticed how scientific theories were distorted to serve political and economic interests. Scientists who dared to disagree with the official narrative were silenced, losing not only their jobs, but also the credibility they had worked so hard to earn. The truth, thus, is suffocated. Jesus stated that those who speak the truth are often marginalized. It is written, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." However, many choose to remain imprisoned in the chains of lies. Soon, he observed the emergence of a unified global economic system, where no one could buy or sell without being part of this system. The moment is approaching when a mark will be imposed, making it impossible for anyone to participate in the economy without it. Jesus had already warned about this. As prophesied in the book of Revelation, no one will be able to buy or sell without this mark. Will this be presented as a great blessing? A solution to the problems that afflict the world? However, their true objective is slavery. And what about those people who refuse to accept this mark? I wondered. They will face persecution and great difficulties. Jesus answered sincerely, "But I will be with them. My provision is not based on the system of this world. Just as I fed Israel in the desert, I will also take care of my own during this time. At this moment, I glimpsed even more intense scenes. Natural disasters of unimaginable dimensions. Cosmic phenomena impacting our planet. Humanity plunged into absolute despair. When the cup of God's wrath is finally poured out, Jesus revealed that even those who once opposed him will cry out for help, but will not find death. Death will avoid them. Is this the final judgment? I asked, feeling the weight of what I was witnessing. Not yet, Jesus replied. These are the judgments that precede my glorious return. In my first coming, I arrived as a lamb, destined for sacrifice. Next time, I will come like a lion, accompanied by the heavenly armies, to establish my kingdom of justice. It was then that he revealed to me his return. It was a majestic, powerful, and undeniable scene. I saw Jesus descending from the heavens, no longer as the humble carpenter of Galilee, but as the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Beside him, a celestial army of incalculable dimensions was forming. The light that radiated from him was so powerful that it seemed to devour all the darkness that crossed its path. In Nazareth, while sharing the scriptures, Jesus made a reference to an event that was recorded in the Gospel. I presented only a part of the prophecy of Isaiah, which speaks about bringing good news to the poor, granting freedom to the captives, and giving sight to the blind. However, I paused before mentioning the passage that refers to the day of vengeance of our God. I did this because my first coming was for the purpose of salvation. The second will be for judgment. As I contemplated that stunning vision, I felt the hand of Jesus gently resting on my shoulder. He told me, "Hannah, everything you have witnessed is so that you understand the urgency of the times. It is not for you to live in fear, but rather to live with a purpose." What should I do with all of this? I asked, feeling completely overwhelmed by the vastness of the revelations that had been presented to me. The answer came clear. Share what you saw, alert those who are willing to listen. But above all, help people understand that regardless of what is to come, I remain the Lord of history. The victory has already been achieved on the cross. Jesus then guided me along a distinct path, leading me away from that amphora of torment. We arrived at a place that resembled a serene garden, filled with peace and tranquility. However, the world was preparing to face a food shortage. It went on. The remaining food would become increasingly artificial, lacking true nutrients, which would result in the emergence of new diseases. Those who dominate the food supply have the power to control people. I observed how food production was becoming increasingly centralized and artificial. I witnessed meat being cultivated in laboratories and the emergence of genetically modified foods, which brought with them concerns about long-term health issues. Inspire people to return to the essentials, to cultivate their own food whenever possible, and to become less dependent on the systems that seek to control them. Jesus left us this teaching, and in a moment of reflection, he revealed something surprising to me. Amid a world dominated by global control systems, communities of believers emerged who chose to live differently. They chose a simpler life, dedicating themselves to growing food, sharing resources, and mutual care. And so, even in times of darkness, the light of hope will shine through those who remain steadfast in their faith. They will become a true refuge, a testament that there is a different way of living. As we walked through the garden, Jesus paused in front of a tree full of fruit. In this time of tribulation, many will go through a process of purification. They will be whitened and tested like gold that is placed in the fire. Those who remain faithful until the end will be graced with the crown of life. At that moment, Jesus turned to me, and his gaze seemed to penetrate deeply into my soul. "Hannah," he said, "your time has not yet come. You need to go back and share everything you saw and heard." "Go back?" I asked, a feeling of reluctance taking over me. The place where I was with Jesus was simply perfect, filled with an indescribable peace. The prospect of returning to the world, with all its problems and the pain of my wounded body, filled me with anguish. Yes, you have a mission to fulfill. Jesus said this with a mix of gentleness and firmness. Do not be afraid. I will be with you every day, he added, as he placed his hand on my head, like a true blessing. You will be my witness. Share what you have witnessed and warn those who are still asleep. Time is precious and scarce. Before I could give an answer, a strange sensation enveloped me. I felt myself being pulled back, as if an invisible force was dragging me back through the tunnel of light. The images around me began to disintegrate, as if they were falling apart into 1,000 pieces. The light around me gradually dimmed, plunging everything into an unsettling twilight. Suddenly, an intense pain erupted through my body, as if every fiber was being consumed by an unbearable fire. Then, everything transformed abruptly. Sirens cut through the air, loud voices echoed around me, and the sound of medical equipment adjusting filled the environment. I opened my eyes and found myself staring at the ceiling of an ambulance while doctors moved frantically around me. The sensation of return was intense. I heard someone shout, "We have heartbeats." The pain I felt was almost unbearable, but at the same time a certainty filled me. I was back for a purpose. The words of Jesus resonated in my mind with an impressive clarity. In the days that followed, everything became a blur of surgeries, pain medications, and a slow and challenging recovery. I had faced multiple fractures, internal bleeding, and a traumatic brain injury. The doctors said it was a true miracle that I survived. Their surprise grew even more when they discovered that I had been clinically dead for almost 9 minutes. "You are a fighter," said the chief doctor, as he checked my vital signs 3 days after the accident. "Many people cannot come back after so much time without oxygen in the brain." I smiled faintly, aware that it was not just my strength that brought me back, but rather a divine purpose. As I physically recovered, the experience I lived remained vivid within me. It was not a dream that dissipated upon waking. It was something much more intense, more tangible than any experience I had ever had. With my mind buzzing with emotions, I began to record everything I could remember, every vivid detail of the visions, every word that Jesus had spoken. My friends and family noticed the profound change that occurred in me. It was not just about having survived a serious accident. It was a true transformation. Faith, which was once merely a superficial part of my life, has now become the heart of my existence. The understanding of the spiritual reality that surrounded me completely transformed my worldview. After 2 months dedicated to recovery, I hurt myself again. But this time, my approach was different. Before, I limited myself to studying historical facts. Now, my goal was to help my students see the patterns that lay behind them. Understanding history as a continuous cycle is essential. The events of the past not only shape the present, but also offer us valuable lessons to prepare for the future. It was in this context that I began to openly share my own experience. I started by sharing my experiences first with close friends, then in small groups at church, and gradually I began to open up to anyone willing to listen. Some people showed skepticism, others were driven by curiosity, while some found comfort and hope in the stories I told. In 2024, the world began to witness the emergence of new control technologies. Throughout 2025, economic systems became even more centralized, and new diseases started to arise. It was in this context that I recognized the signs that Jesus had revealed to me. This revelation further increased my determination to share the message. It was not about instilling fear or despair, but rather about promoting preparation and hope. It is true that challenging times were approaching, but the Lord of history remained firmly in control of everything. Victory was already certain for those who stayed faithful. Today, almost 2 years after my accident, I continue to share the lessons I learned during those 9 minutes outside my body. Now, as we reach the end of 2025, I realize that the signs are becoming clearer every day. A valuable lesson I have learned throughout my journey is that we should not fear the future, even when it seems bleak. As Jesus taught me, in this world we will face tribulations, but we must keep our spirits up, for He has overcome the world. We are living in prophetic times, moments that were announced millennia ago. It is not by chance that we are here, at this exact point in history. Each of us has a unique role to play in the grand plan of life. When you hear about technological advancements being used for control, about new diseases emerging in enigmatic ways, and about economic systems that marginalize those who do not fit in, remember this. This is not the end of the story. It is just a new chapter. The conclusion has already been written, and in it, the Lamb emerges victorious. Therefore, live each day with the full awareness that we are merely pilgrims in this world. Here, it is not our permanent home. We will make the most of the time we have been given, loving one another, sharing the truth, and being light amidst the intensifying darkness. I remember the words of Jesus in that heavenly garden. Blessed are those who wash their robes in the blood of the Lamb, for they shall have the right to the tree of life and may enter the city through the gates. Time may be scarce, but hope is something that endures forever. We must prepare ourselves, remain vigilant, and above all, stay faithful until the end. What an extraordinary and transformative narrative. The Bible reminds us of this in Revelation chapter 3, verse 11. I am coming quickly, and I want to remind you, hold on to what is yours, so that no one takes your crown. I am immensely grateful, Hannah, for sharing such a deep and essential experience with us for the days we are living in. And to you who have followed along, may the blessings of the universe illuminate your life. Live with purpose, be attentive and wise, and never lose hope. We will meet in the next video.